Today we remember a great statesman and a true friend of Britain. We send our deepest condolences to the American people and to his family. As we conclude this meeting of the G20, I would like to congratulate President Macri on Argentina's presidency and on the hosting of this summit. As the first British Prime Minister to visit Buenos Aires, I'm grateful for the warmth of the welcome I have received. The visit marks an important milestone in the relationship between the UK and Argentina. Yesterday, President Macri and I held productive talks on the way forward in our partnership, including on trade and investment. We also welcomed the agreement on a new commercial air link between the Falklands and Sao Paulo via Cordoba, a move that shows what we can achieve when we work together. The UK has always been clear about the importance of the G20 to international economic cooperation and the rules-based order. The G20 brings together countries that collectively constitute 85% of gross world product, two-thirds of the world's population, and around half of the world's land area. It is a vital forum in which we can work together to achieve strong, sustainable and balanced growth. And 10 years on from the last G20 leaders' meeting, this has been a productive summit. We've made strong commitments to work together on a range of areas, including reform of the World Trade Organization and making the global economy work for everyone. We also discussed other key priorities, such as tackling climate change and promoting global health. And I welcome the commitments made on stepping up the fight against modern slavery. Over the course of the summit, I've had a number of meetings with other world leaders. As well as discussing bilateral relationships and regional and global security issues, this summit has given me the opportunity to update friends and partners on the agreement we've reached on our exit from the European Union, and I've set out how it represents a good deal for the global economy. International firms that have invested in UK production or that use European bases to supply the UK market will benefit from the arrangements we have agreed. And for the first time in more than 4 decades, the UK will have an independent trade policy, playing an active role on the global stage as we take up our seat at the WTO in April 2019. That this deal sets a path for the UK to a brighter future has been affirmed by the discussions I've had on trade over the past 2 days, with friends and partners making clear that they are keen to sign and implement ambitious free trade agreements with us as soon as possible. Thank you. Now, pass on to some questions. Faisal, I think, am I right in saying this is your last trip with
yes,
Sky?
I think yes. It might be. But,
you think it might be?
It won't be an easy question because of it. So, Prime Minister, a third of the trade envoy MPs that you appointed aren't going to vote for your trade deal. They fear that in offering frictionless trade to Europe, you can't offer full-blooded goods trade deals to the partners here. What have you been telling people here, like the Japanese and the Canadians? Have you offered them a full-blooded goods trade deal? Because surely you can't with the backstop and frictionless trade.
Well, first of all, we will have an independent trade policy. We will be able to reach trade deals around the rest of the world. When we looked at the proposal that we put forward in the summer in relation to frictionless trade, we specifically asked the question as to whether that would, for example, enable us to join the CPTPP, and the answer was yes. And we have had discussions with, and I've had discussions with a number of colleagues, world leaders today, with Shinzo Abe from Japan, with Justin Trudeau from Canada, and with others about the possibility of those free trade deals. And don't forget that actually what we will be looking at, and what is important, I think, for the world trade, and this was identified in the G20 discussions on this issue, is that trade and looking at the future of trade is about more than goods. Laura.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. BBC News. Another member of the government has left over their unhappiness with your Brexit compromise deal. You are still losing ministers. The number opposing your deal is going up rather than down. When will you accept that you are losing support?
Look, over the next 9 days are a really important time for our country, leading up to the vote on this deal. I will be talking with members of Parliament, obviously, and explaining to them why I believe this is a good deal for the UK, why it is a deal that delivers on Brexit, but it's also a deal that protects jobs and the economy, and why allowing this deal to go ahead, passing this deal in the vote that takes place in the House of Commons, will take us to certainty for the future, and that failure to do that would only lead to uncertainty. And I think what people want, what I've been hearing here at the G20, is the importance of that certainty for the future. Anybody else? Steve?
Steve Hawkes at The Sun. Prime Minister, given the incredible events in Westminster, ministerial resignations, this could actually be one of your last trips if events turn out badly. What do you think your legacy as Prime Minister will be?
Well, look, there's a lot more for me still to do, Steve, not least delivering on Brexit and being the Prime Minister that does take the United Kingdom out of the European Union. Jess?
Thank you. Jessica Algott from The Guardian. Prime Minister, you've always said that the relationship with Saudi Arabia means that we can ask the tough questions. The Crown Prince might be directly connected with a murder. Did you ask him directly that tough question? And if not, why not?
Well, it is absolutely the case that the relationship we have with Saudi Arabia means that we are able to raise issues that are difficult issues with them and to be clear with them on our views on things and our concerns about things. What I said to the Crown Prince yesterday was the importance of a full, credible, transparent investigation that identifies those who were involved and the importance of ensuring that those who were involved are held to account. That is the message that we have consistently given since the incident, since the terrible murder of Jamal Khashoggi, and it's a message that we will continue to give. Andy.
Andy Woodcock from the Press Association. Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe today asked you to help ensure that there would be no deal Brexit. Did he explain to you exactly what he fears might happen if no deal does come about? And were you able to reassure him that you'll make sure that won't happen?
Well, I'm presenting a good deal to Parliament. I've negotiated a good deal. When we have been going through this process of negotiation, of course, I've been listening to and talking to businesses across the UK and indeed across the European Union, including Japanese businesses that are invested in the UK. One of the key messages they've given is about the importance of being able to maintain a good trade relationship with the European Union once we've left. That is what the deal that's been negotiated delivers. That's why I say I believe it's good for the UK and the EU, but I believe it's also good for the global economy. And now I'll take a last question. I think it's Natalia from La Nación here. Yes.
Hi, yes, sorry, Natalia Pegoraro from Argentine newspaper La Nación. I'd like to ask you, how do you imagine the relationship between the UK and Mercosur will be, and the UK and Argentina will be after Brexit?
Yes, well, on the Mercosur issue, of course, we have been encouraging the EU to actually finalise its arrangements, which have been being under discussion for some time for a trade relationship between the EU and Mercosur. I was very pleased to be able to have a discussion with President Macri yesterday on the future relationship between Argentina and the UK. That relationship is developing, it is growing. We have seen some important steps taken, as I referenced in my comments just now, that extra flight that is coming from the Falklands to Sao Paulo via Cordoba. But we also look forward to developing our trade relationship with Argentina once we've left the European Union. And I think this is a developing relationship and it will continue to grow. Thank you.